Good morning! I am so sorry, you guys. It's been like 2 months since I made a video. Um, and at Crystal from Three Little Book Blog's insistence, I am doing a video this week. I'm sorry. Honestly, I haven't done a video because I have been busy with life and I just didn't know what I wanted to talk about. I could talk about books I'm reading every week, but I feel like that would be boring. I could do fun book tags because I have an abundance of those, but I don't want every one of my videos to be a book tag. So I don't know. It's been a combination of busy and not knowing what to talk about, and I'll try to be better about making more regular videos, even if it's just popping in to say, these are the books that I added on Goodreads this week or something. But let me know if there's anything that you would like me to talk about. Leave me a comment if there's any topics that you have in mind. But in the meantime, happy Sunday. Since I last made a video, I read a lot. I finished the On Dublin Street series, which, hold on, coffee break. I finished the On Dublin Street series, and to be honest, overall, I'm glad I did it, but I was kind of disappointed. The last couple of books were super disappointing for me. I still have to post my review of the last book, but I was kind of, I think it's because I'd heard so many wonderful things about the last book, and then I read it and I was just kind of underwhelmed, but still really enjoyed the first book and the second book and the third book, but the last two, didn't enjoy them as much. But I am glad I finished it. That was one of my goals this year, was to finish series that I started or read series that I've been wanting to read. And that will bring me into my later topic, but I still want to read The Bronze Horseman this year. I want to, what's another one? I want to finish the Bloodline series by Richelle Mead, and I think either in May or June, sometime in the next few months, I am going to binge read the Vampire Academy series because I want to write reviews for those. And I want to restart the Bloodline series and binge read those. I bought all of the ebooks that I didn't have when they were on sale a few weeks ago. They were like on sale for $2.99 or something. It was like some crazy deal. So I bought a whole bunch of the books. So that was really exciting for me. But anyway, I'm trying to get through some series that I started and read some series I've been wanting to read. Another book that I read since we last spoke that I enjoyed, I read The One That Got Away by Bethany Chase. This was her debut novel, and it's about a girl named Serena. She's not a girl, she's a woman. I'm not a girl. I'm sorry. Okay. It's about a woman named Serena, and she is an interior designer. She's doing really well, and she has a boyfriend. They've been in a relationship for a long time. He's an attorney. Things are going really well, and then the guy from her past, her one that got away, kind of shows up in town after a whole bunch of years and kind of forces her to kind of go on a journey of self-discovery and like figure out what she wants. And she realizes that the feelings that she had for him are still kind of there. And so she has a choice to make, whether she wants to be with him or stay with the person that she's kind of used to and she's comfortable with. And let me just say, Eamon is really hot. He's an Olympic swimmer. Let's just think about that for a second. His body has got to be ridiculous. But anyway, it was really good, and I enjoyed it, so you should check it out. It came out on March 31st, so it's out now. And oh, and I'm really excited. There is going to be a next book in this series. It's kind of a series of companion standalones. So I'm excited to read that. Anyway, that's what I read. And I don't know the name of the next book. But anyway. I also read Exquisite Captive by Heather Demetrius. It was my first Genie book, and I gotta say, it was really enjoyable. There were moments that it was kind of slow, but I liked the whole world, this kind of fantasy world that marries kind of Western culture and the Middle East. And yeah, it was kind of a non-love triangle, love triangle, but not really a love triangle, but had elements of one. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to post my review of that soon. But it was really good, and I'm really wanting the next book. The next book is Blood Passage. I think it comes out in September, and I need to stop playing with this pen because I'm going to keep dropping it. But yeah, I'm excited to read. I keep saying I'm excited, but I really am. I really want to read it. It doesn't end on a cliffhanger. It's definitely more of a to be continued ending, but it definitely leaves you wanting more. So when it comes out, I will be checking it out from my library or buying it. I don't know. I haven't decided. I also, drumroll, started and finished the Beautiful Bastard series. Well, that's a lie. I started the series back, I think, in February or January when I read Beautiful Player. I read them out of order, and I don't normally do that. But I heard Beautiful Player was so good, and I was in the mood at the time for a really light read. But I finished, I guess, the Beautiful Bastard series, and overall, that series was really fun. My review for Beautiful Secrets either going to go up today or tomorrow, or maybe today. But it was really enjoyable. The series as a whole. Beautiful Secret, it just was kind of weird in a way, and it didn't have the same kind of charm as the other books, but as a whole, the series was really fun. If you're wanting like a fun, mindless series that's sexy and the guys are just super nice and I liked them a lot. Like, they're just really likable. You should read that series because it was really good. And then lastly, I just finished this book last night. It is Sunday, by the way, that I'm filming this, so it's legit Sunday. I finished Station 11 last night. And if you follow my blog or if you care what I read on stuff on Goodreads, you'll notice that I have been reading this book for a while. Not because I am not enjoying it. It didn't take me a long time because I wasn't enjoying it. But I had started out listening to it. Or, hold on, let me just tell you. I finished Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. I have been reading it / listening to it for a long time, like 2 weeks or something. But I started listening, and the narrator was fantastic. I loved her. She did a great job with differentiating between all the different characters, because there were a lot of characters in this book. But as I was listening to it, as is with most audiobooks, I was zoning out and I realized that I was missing like important things. So I went back and reread it, and it was really good. I realized when I went back and reread the parts, well, I started from the beginning, and I realized that I had missed a good portion of some things. But it's a post-apocalyptic. It is not a romance. It's a complete 180 from what I normally read, but damn, it was good. And the writing was just on point. The way the story unfolded, it just leaves you like wanting to know what happens. It's kind of hard to explain what the book is about, but in a nutshell, it is a story of survival. It's a story of before and after this great event that kind of wipes out the human population. The book starts with this famous actor named Arthur Leander, and he has a heart attack on stage. And as he's in the midst of playing King Lear, one of the audience members notices that something is wrong. He jumps up on stage and tries to save Arthur's life, and he's unsuccessful. And I should mention that this happened the night before the world was ending. And I say that not for dramatic purposes, but quite literally, the world was ending at this very moment. And so Arthur's death was kind of the, not the catalyst, but it was definitely kind of the period at the end of an era. And the rest of the book goes back and forth between before this event and after. And the event was this highly contagious flu called the Georgian flu sweeps across the world, and it kills 99% of the population in the world in a matter of, like, in a short amount of time. Like, we're talking one morning you're fine, you maybe have a cough, and then by the next day or two you're completely dead. So it has a really short incubation period, and people just die. And it's highly contagious. Like, you just have to, like, be in the same vicinity. So it wiped out a whole bunch of people. But the main characters in this book are Arthur, the person that died, Jeevan, the paramedic who rushed on stage to save his life, Arthur's friend Clark, Miranda, Arthur's first wife, and there's a lot of side characters. I know I'm probably missing someone. And then a character of sorts is this person named V. But the story goes back and forth in time. The present, or the future, I guess, is 20 years after the Georgian flu kind of swept out the world. There's no electricity, there's no transportation, there's no airplanes, there's nothing, no food, no president, no government infrastructure, nothing. And it follows Kirsten, this little girl who was on stage and had a role in that play that Arthur died in the beginning. She's much older now, quite obviously, and she's traveling with this group of the Shakespearean troupe and orchestra called the Traveling Symphony, and they go through from settlement to settlement and perform for the people that are left. It's just really hard to kind of explain this book, but it's just definitely a story of survival. I mean, how can you write a post-apocalyptic book and not have that be the story? But it's also a story of, like, remembrance and the importance of certain things. Like, this paperweight was kind of this constant throughout the whole book. This comic book that Miranda had written, that Kirsten carries around, about this space station, this traveling planet in space. Anyway, I'm butchering this book, but it's really good. The writing was just really fantastic. Let me try to find some of my favorites, quotes. There was one that Clark had said. Later on in the book. So this quote takes place. Clark is at an airport, and it was right when the world was ending. It was the last plane that he ever flew on, and he's sitting in the airport. And, you know, the news is going crazy with this flu. And he says he's getting a cup of tea at a kiosk. And he says, so visiting with them is like going back in time to the paradise of a half an hour earlier when he hadn't yet known that everything was coming undone. I don't know. This book was just really freaking good. So that's my Station 11 thoughts. I have a lot more to say that I'm going to put in a more comprehensive review, but I know I butchered what that book is about, but it's really great. Yeah. And I had one thing in this book that I figured out, and it made me mad because I wish I could have gotten more from it. I wish I could have gotten more time, or I wish it would have gone down differently. But anyway, liked that book. Read that book if you like reading non-romance books. Or if you want to take a chance on one, check that out. So, yeah. I guess I will say what's next for me is I'm going to the Hard Rock Tulsa signing at the end of April. I'm really stoked because I get to meet L.H. Cosway. I love her books, and I can't wait to meet her and hang out with her. So, and I think couple of my book friends are going to be down there. So if you're going, let me know. We should hang out. And in a month, it's like 30 days from now, I am going to RT. I'm so excited. I haven't been to a signing since the New Orleans signing last year, and I've been saving up for this RT trip, and I cannot freaking wait. There's going to be so many awesome panels. There's going to be so many awesome people there, and so many authors that I'm dying to see. Rochelle Mead, I've already met her, but I just would like to see her again. I haven't seen her since I read Georgie, and I just want to have a moment with her. Really excited. So yeah, if you're going to either of those signings, let me know. We should hang out. If you're not going to any of those signings, which ones are you going to? I'd love to know about those too. But yeah, book signings are so much fun. What's next for me reading-wise is, I am actually going to be starting this today. I debated about whether I was even going to mention it, but I figure why not? Because this is one of my most anticipated books of the entire year, and I'm going to be starting Marrow by Tarryn Fisher. I cannot wait! Cannot wait! I wanted to finish my Beautiful Bastard series, and I wanted to finish Station 11 before I dove into this book, but I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I loved Mudvayne so much, and this is definitely one of my most anticipated books of the whole year. Can't wait to meet Margot. And then after that, I'm going to be reading Sweet by Tamara Weber. It's right here. I just got my ARC of this book yesterday, so yeah, I'm going to have to get on it because I have a lot of books that I have to read. I'm excited to read them, but I have to read them the next few weeks. And I just got this in the mail the other day. And it's Kyla Lind, K-A Lind. I actually do not know how to pronounce her name. But yes, K-A Lindy. Diamonds by her new series. So, love the cover, by the way. But yes, I just got this in the mail, and I'm really excited. Whoa! And I'm also going to be reading Overruled by Emma Chase. I'm really intrigued about that one because of the legal storyline, and if you know me, you know why that is exciting to me. I'm also going to be rereading Angel Fall and World After in preparation for the End of Days. I am going to be reviewing this for Romantic Times Magazine, RT Magazine, or not, is it the web? Maybe the web. I don't know which, web or magazine. I think it's the magazine. I don't remember. Anyway, really excited. I loved Angel Fall, World After. I already read them before. Let me start over. I'm getting so excited. I'm getting ahead of myself. Angel Fall and World After I listened to last year, but I never wrote reviews for, and so I'm rereading them so that I can write reviews for them and so that I can prepare myself for this book. I'm really excited. I need to get on it. I need to buckle down reading wise and just, yeah. What else? Oh, and I got this book for review, and I'm spilling coffee everywhere. I got this book for review. Hugo and Rose. The blurb was really intriguing, and I've read some early reviews where the blurb might be slightly misleading, but it's about a housewife who her whole life she's dreamt of this one guy, and she's married. She's married happily. She's had the same dream with this one guy named Hugo, and they're always on an island and he's this brave hero. And then in her real life, she sees him one day, and it kind of triggers this series of events and change in her life. And some of the early reviews I've seen say that it's kind of a darker novel, so I think Rose might be a little crazy. But, yeah, it looks different, and I'm trying to read some more out-of-the-box type books. I need to stretch myself a little bit, because, yeah. Anyway, Hugo and Rose by Bridget Foley. It comes out May 5th, maybe? May 5th, yes. May 5th. So, that. Gosh, I'm such a klutz. I'm spilling coffee everywhere. What else? I got this in the mail. It's called Sophomore Year is Greek to Me, and I think it's the second book in a series of like companion novels. But it's about a girl, and her dad is a journalist, and he gets an assignment to go to Greece. And the thing is her mother was Greek, and when her mother married this American guy, her Greek family kind of cut her off and stopped speaking to her. So I think it looks good. I don't know. I don't think it's a romance, but anyway, Sophomore Year is Greek to Me by Meredith Zeitlin. So check it out if it interests you. I just got in the mail a finished copy of Broken Juliet. I'm going to be reading that soon too. I have a lot of books I got to be reading, but after the end of Bad Romeo, I cannot wait to dive into this book because I want to know how it ends. And if you haven't, she has a third book in this series that's about someone different, Wicked Heart. So add that on Goodreads if that interests you too. And then I got this in the mail. I've already read this. I think I talked about this in my last video. But I inadvertently entered a giveaway apparently on their Facebook page around the release time. And they were like, you won. And I was like, I did. But anyway, really happy about this because I loved this book. I like this series a lot. And they signed it and I'm so happy. So this is a really fun book. If you want a really fun light read, they're new adult. They're sexy without being like overly sexy, and they're just fun. Check out Boomerang and Rebound. And Bounce comes out later this year. I'm excited about that. What else? Let's talk about books I added on Goodreads. Okay. Since I last talked to you, I added lots of books, but I'll just highlight some of them. The Versions of Us by Laura Bennett. This book caught my eye because it kind of reminded me a little bit of Maybe in Another Life by Taylor Reid. I haven't read that book yet, but it plays on the idea of fate and choices and kind of different how your choices shape your life. And let me just read the blurb to you and see if it interests you. A man walking down a county lane, a woman cycling towards him, swerves to avoid a dog. On that moment, their future hinges. There are 3 possible outcomes, 3 small decisions that could determine the rest of their life. Ava and Jim are 19 and students at Cambridge when their paths first cross in 1958. And then there is David, Ava's then lover, an ambitious actor who loves Ava deeply. The Versions of Us follows 3 different courses their lives could take following this first meeting. Lives filled with love, betrayal, ambition, but through it all is a deep connection that endures whatever fate might throw at them. The Versions of Us explores the idea that there are moments when our lives might have turned out differently. The tiny factors or decisions that could determine our fate and the precarious nature of the foundations upon which we build our lives. It is also a story about the nature of love and how it grows, changes, and evolves as we go through the vagaries of life. I probably butchered vagaries, whatever. But anyway, the British publication is June 2015. I believe it's going to be coming out in the US next year, so the Goodreads date is a little bit off. But it looks really good. Add it if that's something that interests you. I also added Jandy Nelson's book that doesn't come out until 2017. I don't know if this is an actual title or if it's a working title, but it's called Fall Boys and Dizzy in Paradise. I really want to read Jandy Nelson's books. The Sky is Everywhere and I'll Give You the Sun. I've heard both of them are really good. I added Emily and Oliver by Robin Benway. Michelle Levy, Not After Everything. 5 to 1 by Holly Bodger. See, I'm butchering names left and right. This one looks really good. It's a dystopian book, and thanks to Lucia, that's how I found out about this book, and it looks like Lucia read it and liked it, so alright. But I'll just read you the first paragraph. In the year 2054, after decades of gender selection, India now has a ratio of 5 boys for every 1 girl, making women an incredibly valuable commodity. Tired of marrying off their daughters to the highest bidder and determined to finally make marriage fair, the women who form the country, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that name, have instituted a series of tests so that every boy has a chance to win a wife. And then it's just about a couple who kind of the woman doesn't want to be a wife and the boy is forced in a test, and I think that they end up together. But it's written in verse and prose, so interesting. I also added The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. I added The Stories of Us by Danny Atkins. Captive by Brighton Walsh. The SARS Game by Evelyn Skye, which doesn't come out until next year, but it looks really good. It's like a fantasy set in Russia. Fantasy historical fiction, I guess, set in Russia. And the little blurb that's on Goodreads right now says, in this YA fantasy, star-crossed lovers battle in a lush, magical version of Tsarist Russia in 1852 or 1825. Jeez Louise, I cannot read today. So that looks good. And then I added Sincerely Carter by Whitney Gracia Williams, and it's friends to lovers, male point of view type of book, and I think it comes out at the end of April, so that looks good. I added the 10th Fever book because apparently I didn't have it on my TBR. And then last week I added Paper Hearts by Claire Contreras, and that is the sequel, follow-up, companion novel to Kaleidoscope Hearts about Mia and Jensen, and I'm excited about that. So I want to know their story. So that's what's going on in my Goodreads world. And then lastly, something that I really enjoyed, and I talked about this on my personal Facebook page and my Facebook page, my blog page, but it's these Pinterest boards by PS Literary Agency. They're writing prompts, and let's just get this out there. I have no plans on writing a book. I'm not a writer. I'm not a good writer. I'm not writing a book. I'm not writing a book. I'm not writing a book, okay? But I love these Pinterest boards. They're writing prompts. There's visual and textual ones, and they're just so, like, you read through them and you're like, oh man, if I was a good writer, I could be inspired by this. You could be brilliant, but you are a coward. I push people away. That's my thing. Isn't that a felony? I wrote a letter to you, but I was too afraid to send it. But I could just read through all of these all day long. I told my therapist about you. He liked her hair long, so she cut it short. There's just all these great things. So if you're a writer, or if you're an aspiring writer, or if you think you might want to be a writer, or if you just like to look through Pinterest boards like myself, you should check out these writing prompts. I'm kind of obsessed with them, and I don't really know why. But anyway, this is a really long vlog. Apparently I did have a lot to talk about, and I'm not even going to try to edit this down, so all of my blur mistakes and stuff is just I'm going to leave it as is. But I hope that you guys have been great since I last talked to you. I'll try to post another video next week. I'll try. I am going to be dog sitting next weekend, so maybe I will. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great week. This is the last week of my 20s, and I'm looking forward to my 30s. So, yeah. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Have a great week.